Hello, and welcome to Assessment Editor Basics. When creating a new assessment or editing an existing assessment, you'll need to navigate to the Assessment Editor. Please note that this video was created using a District Administrator account, and some of the options and filters shown may look different than what you see on your screen. It is easy to access the Assessment Editor by clicking on the Assessments button on the eDoctrina homepage. Alternately, if I go back, another way to get onto the assessment screen is going to the top navigation bar and clicking on Assessments, Set Up Assessments. This navigation bar should be available in most areas of eDoctrina. Once on the assessment screen, click on the plus insert button to create a new assessment, or click on the Edit pencil to edit an existing assessment. More details will follow on this in a future learning experience. In order to create a new assessment, click on the plus insert button. Once you have clicked the plus insert button or the edit pencil icon, you will see the assessment editor as shown below. A few things I would like to point out. First is the navigation bar. This will help you to skip to a specific section of your assessment. So for example, if I'd like to go to Special Instructions, I can click on Special Instructions and it'll take me right there without having to navigate down my page. But for now, I'm just going to start on the General tab. Number 2, the Add Questions button. This will allow you to add a specified number and type of questions to your assessment and will be explained in a future learning experience. Please note that the Add Questions button is also on the top and under the Questions tab as well. The next two buttons will also be addressed in a future learning experience, and that is the Questions Bank button, which will allow you to add pre-existing questions to your assessment, and the Passage button, which will allow you to add a passage-based question. The next button that you will see is the Print Test button. This will open up a pop-up that will allow you to format the printable version of your assessment and/or assessment map. Also at the top, you will see two view toggles, which will allow you to switch between two different viewing modes for your assessment. The first is the answer key. This view is a simplified overview of your assessment questions. This view is useful for quickly creating an answer key to match an existing assessment you need to collect data for. You can easily add questions, edit the correct answer to or point value of a question, change the question type, and reorder questions. The Questions and Standards tab will allow the user to view specific question details for each question. This view is mandatory for users to use when linking questions to learning standards. It is also useful for viewing and editing question content. The Save button, Save and Close buttons allow you to save or cancel any changes you make to the assessment. Please be aware that you must use the Save or Save and Close buttons if you wish for any changes, including creation of the assessment, to be saved. So now let's talk about the General tab. I'm going to switch back to my answer key and go up to General tab. This section contains the general information and controls basic settings for your assessment. Please note that any category that you see marked with a red asterisk will be a mandatory field. In order to set up the general settings for your assessment, you will just simply go to the box that you would like to fill in, click the cursor in the box, and then type in your response. So for the name of my assessment, I am going to call it New Assessment. I can choose a school if I wish, but please note that schools are not a mandatory field. Next would be to set my date. The date will default to the current day that you are creating the assessment, but if you click in the box, you have the option to choose another date. Some users find it helpful to assign a date around the time that the assessment will be given. You will also select your year that the assessment should be created in. In most cases, this will default to the current year that you are in. You will also choose your grade level as well as your subject. Please note here that there are drop downs, so you would choose the appropriate grade level here. The next would be the type of assessment. When I click in the box here, I will see a list of different assessment types that are available in my district. So I would choose the appropriate one. If at any time I would like to remove an assessment type, simply click on the X to remove that type. And to add a type, I would click in the box, find the one I would like, and choose it. You also have the option to choose more than one type. The next field I would like to talk about is not a mandatory field. However, it is a field that is a lot of times very important to teachers, and it is called the courses field. Selecting a course for your assessment will then allow the user that created the assessment to receive an email notification once data has been processed for that particular assessment. If there is no course for this assessment, the user will never receive an email informing them that that data is now ready. One other thing that is applicable here is also an active email for that user is required as well. So if I would like to choose a course, I would click in here. Also, if any units have been created that this assessment would be used in, you would also click on the units and see a listing of any units that are available there. Most of the options on this side you do not need to worry about. However, one thing I would highly recommend is to add some tags. Again, it is not a mandatory field, but adding tags can sometimes help you locate an assessment, especially if you don't remember the assessment ID number or if you do not remember the name of the assessment. So in the tags field, please just type some things that would help you remember where to find this assessment. So what I would usually recommend is to choose 3 different tags. The first being your last name, the second being the subjects, and the third being the topic that you're going to teach. So for this, let's say we were teaching fractions. So that way, if I don't remember that I named my assessment, new assessment, I could always find this assessment very easily by typing in the tags. A few more options that you would see here. A team can edit checkbox. This box is checked by default. It will allow all users who are tied to the course the assessment is linked to within the same school building to edit the assessment. Unchecking the box will allow only the creator of an assessment to edit this assessment. The next checkbox would be the exclude from list checkbox. Checking this box will allow only the creator of the assessment and administrators access to the assessment. It will be unsearchable by all other users. The last is the hidden on assessment screen. Checking this box will permanently remove the assessment. Please do not check this box without first consulting with an eDoctrina representative. Using this checkbox is generally not advised. At this point, what I would like to do is I would like to save my work so far. So I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to hit save because I don't want to close it out at this point. If I hit save, you will now notice that an assessment ID number has now been created. In this case, 156469. This number can be used to troubleshoot if you have any problems going forward. That concludes Learning Experience number 1, Assessment Editor Basics. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time.